Ryan here for Silly Reviews. We're going to give you some lead pipe locks. UFC 279. Diaz now versus Ferguson. After all the switching, mixing, matching they had to do with weight misses and everything else on this card. First thing I'll mention, before we get down, we're going to start with the early prelims, then the prelims, then the main event. I'll give you my picks. These are basically lead pipe locks. What qualifications do I have? Well, almost 20 years ago, I was one half of the duo of jrsportspicks.com. So I've been doing this for a really long time. Now, I'll say, first off, if you have any money left after all the subscriptions you need to legitimately watch UFC 279, for instance, the main card, you need ESPN Plus, okay? The prelims, ESPN News, okay? Then what else here? Early prelims, UFC Fight Pass. So if you have any money left, here are your picks for UFC 279. Get your bets in. Let's go. We've got Weeks versus Elena C. I'll tell you right now, Weeks has the better hairline, and he has less tattoos and less ridiculous tattoos. Go ahead, put your money on Weeks. Next up, we've got Martinez versus Reed. What I'll point out here, Reed has a much bigger target on the front of her face to get punched at, to get broken. Let's go with the smaller nose on Martinez for the victory. Now we have Chad Analeger and at Alita. Okay, here's what we have. The guy on our left here from Canada, he looks like one of those you know who I'm talking about, who will let out the air in your SUV tires and all of his activism and stuff. A wannabe communist. Then we have the real communist, this chiseled guy here from China. The chiseled guy is going to get my vote. He is the betting favorite, and he looks like he means business. Next up, we have two women who look like women. Dumont versus Wolf. Go ahead, give me Wolf, just because she's a little bit more tanned, which means the darker skin means she might be a little bit more athletic. Next up, once we go into the prelims, we've got two big boys here. I like to eat, they like to eat. We've got Collier versus Barnett. Barnett, the rare African-American Spanish from Spain gentleman with no tattoos. You rarely ever see that. At least I don't think he has any tattoos. Are those tattoos or curly chest hairs? That's some curly chest hairs right there. We're going to go ahead. I'll give it to Barnett because Collier's got the lamier nipple chops and the goofy tattoos. Next up, we've got Tiuliulin versus Pickett. Tiuliulin, this guy looks like an angry Russian when he's not in the gym, when he's not on the mat. He's throwing back just a big bottle of vodka. The other side, we've got Pickett. He looks like he means serious business too, but go ahead, take the underdog, the slight underdog. Pick the Russian in this fight. Next up, we've got Almeida versus Turkology. So these guys I'm super familiar with, as you can tell. One from Brazil, one from Sweden. We've got the blonde long hair from Sweden. But I tell you what, this guy from Brazil looks pretty damn intimidating. Even though he's a huge underdog, I'm going to go ahead and I'll tell you, put all your money on Almeida, because if you bet $1,000, you could win like $5,000, which is crazy. And that's why I would pick him. Then we've got Dawodu versus Erosa. We've got a Canadian African-American gentleman here, super dark, with the copper top, versus Erosa from the United States. These two guys, the Canadian Dawodu does have the odds in his favor. But you know what? I'm going to bet on the American on this one. Go ahead, pick Erosa for this. Nice payout on that. Probably going to be a first-round knockout within 10, 15 seconds, give or take. So from there, we go into the main event, the main card. We've got Johnny Walker here from Brazil against Cutelaba. Cutelaba, one of my favorite fighters right now in 2022. He's from a country I've never heard of, Moldova. Where is that? I don't know. I tell you what, we've got a Baldy with a beard, and we've got a Brazilian with the thick, not nappy, but thick kind of faded, longer on top hairdo here. And he's rocking with a little chin hair there and maybe a 2-day shadow. I kind of like that look a little bit more, so we're going to go with the Brazilian right there. And put your Portuguese bucks on Walker for a nice upset victory. Next up, we have these handsome ladies. Aldana versus Chiasson. Okay, Chiasson. She's from Mexico, Aldana is, and Chiasson is from the United States. Now, as we can see here clearly, the American Chiasson has the liberal hair, nice and short and butchy, and then we have the ridiculous tattoos and the mean face, okay? If anybody was trying to gender bend, it is Chiasson, which is why I'm going to go ahead and we're going to pick the washboard like Aldana for the victory here, and she is a heavy favorite. No surprises there. Now, this guy looks like kind of like a comic book hero, superhero, anti-hero. I'm not sure, but we got the Jingliang versus Rodriguez. Now, we can see here in the photos, Jingliang, not sure how to pronounce that, sorry. We'll call him Lee. Lee doesn't need the tattoos. He does have kind of an imploded chest, which is a little bit weird. But then when you look at this ridiculous looking guy, Rodriguez here from America, he's decided to go the full prison route, the full Skid Row route, and he looks ridiculous with all those tattoos. Give me Jingliang from China, slight underdog, good payday. Next up, we've got the most ridiculous match of the fight here. This guy weighed in, what, at almost 200 pounds, the undefeated Khamzat, Chimaev, and he's going against Holland. I can't root for a guy who was going to fight a legend. He's undefeated, then he weighs in so far beyond what they were supposed to weigh in at when he was supposed to fight Diaz. I can't root for that guy. Give me Holland. Even though Holland's got all the tattoos, you know I don't like that. He does have a twisty short mop top. Give me Holland on that one for the huge upset victory, because I really think there's a lot of bad vibes. Okay, there's a lot of bad karma on Khamzat Chimaev. Okay, now the main event, the new main event is Tony Ferguson versus Diaz. Diaz has been a draw for the UFC for so long, while also not winning a whole lot. I mean, he has more wins than losses. By God, he's got a lot of losses. He's loud, he's weird, he likes the weed. That was so cool, 10 years ago or whatever. But coming in off of a loss, both guys off a loss, 21-13. Diaz is super long in the tooth. Lots of wear and tear on him, but not much difference. Ferguson's been around the block as well, coming off a loss. I never have faith in Diaz winning a fight. So give me Ferguson on this one. And is this a draw? No, the betting odds actually slightly in favor on Ferguson. So put your money there. There's my picks, my betting picks, my handicapping picks. UFC 279, Diaz versus Ferguson. If you're new here, I only pick events that I'm super confident in if you look in my history. And like I said, I'm reputable. I was half of the duo who was handicapping over at JR Sports Picks. That went back way in the early 2000s. So you know my history there. If you have a different opinion about these fights, a differing opinion from my picks, go ahead, leave your information in the comments. Help people out.